Ladies and gentlemen, after an abundance of footballing greatness, the Euros is about to come to a dramatic conclusion. We are going to be discussing England versus Spain in the final of Euro 2024. How we got there, I don't know.
Honestly, every single game is like, we can't jam our way through another one. And we've jammed our way through another one and another one. And this time, Ollie Watkini, with a 90th minute.
I think he scored in the 89th, 59. The 89 minutes, 59 seconds, the ball hit the back of the net.
What a finish. What a guy. And we'll talk about England's selection and if he should play down the line. But should we quickly run through the kind of...
the events of the Netherlands game?
Yeah, the big talking points.
So we obviously started with the back three again. The first half was really good.
Really good.
Our best performance so far.
100%.
We were electric. And
I was expecting another stinker off the blocks. 2 early goals. Xavi Simons' goal, Declan Rice's mistake. But
after watching it back a couple of times, Gay heads the ball to him and he sort of receives it off balance. And he's never really regains that balance before Simmons barges through.
Yeah.
It's good work by Simmons, though, who gets the ball off him.
Outrageous finish, yeah.
It is an outrageous finish. I think it just takes Pickford by surprise.
And his tiny arms.
Well, yeah, he doesn't get the leap. He doesn't get high.
So I was thinking, I can't remember who I was talking to, but I was like, if that's Donnarumma in goal, he's just so big that he probably just catches that.
Yeah, but it's a great strike. He hits it hard. It's not quite in the corner. I think it takes a lot of people by surprise. But the Netherlands go up 1-0.
And we respond well.
We do respond well. Immediately off the block, we have a couple of opportunities. We have a header at the back post from Declan Rice. He tries to put it back in the area. And then, the Harry Kane incident.
We've had a bit of a spat before the recording. Luke reckons it's a pen. I don't. Let us know in the comments down below if you think it's a pen or not.
I can see why they gave it.
The game has gone.
I think it should have been one where they stuck with the referee's decision. Because...
yeah.
But I can see what they've looked at to give it. I don't necessarily think that's a good thing for the game of football that it's been given. But I can understand why they're giving it.
I don't get it. It's the follow-through of his own shot. It's not like Denzel Dumfries' follow-through on Harry Kane. Harry Kane's follow-through on Denzel Dumfries.
Yeah, but for me, the reason they've probably given it is his positioning. He's facing the way, he studs up, he's not in control of his own block. So...
honks.
And there is a little bit of movement. There is movement, because he's not a statue. Do you know what I mean? So his foot is raising up as Harry Kane follows through into it. Yeah, I don't know, it's a difficult one, but we'll take it. We're due a bit of luck after some horrendous decisions given against us before at major tournaments. So, do you know what I mean? You've got to have a little bit of luck if you're going to win the whole thing.
Indeed, and England have had their fair share of luck.
Yeah, well, especially this game as well. I think the referee was quite kind to England. But Harry Kane dispatches the penalty. It's a good penalty. Verbruggen goes the right way, but Kane hits it hard, he hits it true. And England almost immediately are back on level terms, which is exactly what we want. But we keep going behind. We keep going behind. And I worry if we go behind against the Spanish team, they are going to just be able to play their way around that.
My worry, though, is if we go in front early doors against this Spanish team, it'll be like Italy last Euros all over again.
Agreed. But yeah, so the rest of this first half against Netherlands was really good. Phil Foden and Mainu were my standout players, I think. Mainu
was balling out.
I think he's been so good since he's come in, and he's just grown and grown to the tournament. This entire England team have grown into the tournament, but maybe none more so than him or maybe Bukayo Saka. Phil Foden is getting better with every game. He was so unlucky not to score. That footwork for the goal line clearance was unbelievable. I think it was Mainu who found him with that ball as well. Mainu also was playing some dangerous balls over the top, which was nice to see. Phil Foden, I think, was electric. He operates so well in that pocket. He's so much better in there than he...
Yeah, he's getting better every game, and Jude Bellingham is getting worse every game.
Yeah, I don't know what we're expecting from him, though. We expected him to run through the middle of the pitch and pass 4 players and bang one in. Because
I'm expecting him to put himself about a bit. I'm expecting him to have attempts on goal, which he's not doing at the moment. I'm expecting him to get on the score sheet at least. Yeah,
for me he's battling, and he's operating in that midfield area where he's playing those 1-2 passes. He's maybe looking for someone to overlap on the left.
He has been pushed out to the left now. Foden is definitely the more central player.
But he was putting himself about. The only thing he's not doing for me is arriving in the right areas at the right time.
And that might become an issue that he's being pushed out to the left. He doesn't kind of know when to make those runs.
I mean, the ideal England goal is like Saka gets down on the right, cuts back inside, pulls it across, and Kane's made that run in to make the space for Bellingham to then arrive into.
The Serbia goal, first game.
Exactly. But I'm yet to see that, and that's something that I hope we can do in the next game. But for me, that entire England performance in the first half was exceptional.
Then Holland made changes at half-time. And
obviously, Depay went off injured.
Yeah, Koeman looked to kind of stabilise the midfield. They brought Vermeeren on, Joey Vermeeren, to kind of add an extra man in the midfield because England were running the show with like kind of Bellingham and Foden and Mainu and Rice.
That box midfield was working wonders, and that's what we said in the preview as well. We said that Dutch midfield is quite lightweight, and that's the place where England can look to control the game, and they did. But Koeman made some good substitutions. I think he brought Weghorst on as well, who gave him an out ball, gave Gay and Stones more of a threat to think about.
Yeah.
Because at the sort of like the first half, they only had to worry about maybe Simmons and occasionally Gakpo coming inside, but they were very, very narrow. So you didn't have to worry about it too much. And we saw Trippier getting up on the left quite a lot, which was quite nice to see. Yeah. So then half time comes around, substitutions are made. Luke Shaw comes on as well, which I thought would make us look better. But we fell flat a bit. And once they packed their midfield a bit more, we struggled.
We looked, in my opinion, really poor the second half.
Yeah, but we never. I think we looked in control the entire time. They hit like the crossbar. They had a couple of opportunities from some set pieces. I think Van Dijk had an opportunity.
Yeah, I think we can always be in control. We've got a really good defence, so we're never like conceding a lot of chances because we've got a really good defence. We've got Declan Rice in front, so it is always really solid. But in terms of just like running the game, we just look really poor. Every time we get the ball, we give it away straight away. We're hoofballing it to try and find Harry Kane. Harry Kane, absolute stink show again. So we just couldn't retain possession at all, really.
Yeah, but then the opportunities came. Saka had a goal disallowed for offside, which was quite tight, I think. Yeah. Then the magic moment. I mean, he makes a substitution, Foden and Kane off, Palmer and Watkins on, and then Palmer finds Watkins with a nice pass.
Yeah.
But Watkins has all the work to do.
Yeah, rolls De Vrij, and the angle is so tight. And to find a low bottom corner finish like he did,
drill it in.
Prime Ollie Watkins, that's what he does for Villa, mate.
Yeah, I mean,
so good.
I've seen numerous compilations come out of him doing that for Exeter, Brentford, and for Villa because that's what he does. And immediately as he came on, the threat in behind, he came on the pitch and he looked at Jude and said, "Find me."
Yeah.
And that's what he wanted to do. He was thinking, right, I'm going to get in behind. And these Dutch defenders...
Yeah, De Vrij is slow. Van Dijk, not the fastest guy. Ollie Watkins regularly dunks on Van Dijk's head. He scored a hat-trick against him. Now he scored this goal. So Ollie Watkins probably looks at that back line and thinks, yeah, I'll have that.
He has the running of all of them.
Yeah.
And the Dutch fullbacks aren't about it either. So he can get in and, yeah, he was fantastic when he came on and didn't have a lot of time to showcase what he could do, but he did that exactly. Wow. And that goal will go down in England history, I think.
Yeah.
It's an outrageous finish and
England,
what a time to do
they've
it.
had like all the highlight goals this tournament, like Bellingham's bicycle kick, that goal, it's nuts.
It goes to show you, like, if you just go for it, things can happen.
Yeah.
So yeah, questions to be asked. Maybe if he starts with Harry Kane, I doubt it. But
no, I agree. I doubt it. But
what a result! And England are through to the final to face up against maybe the most imperious team in the tournament. No, not even maybe the most imperious.
The only team that's looked consistently good.
Exactly. And yeah, Spain. I mean,
let's talk about Spain, and then we'll get back onto England and kind of our lineup and stuff, predictions. But Spain, why are they so good?
Well, their managers like coached through like under 17s, under 21s, the whole shebang, and he's worked with all these players, and they look like a club team at national.
Mate, they look so good. They look, like I said, the only like team that's consistently good, and that comes from having like a good system, good manager, good tactics. Whereas like, I think a lot of the other teams are kind of figuring it out as they go. Like England
started off the back four,
didn't even know our midfield, and then we kind of figured out our midfield. Then we don't even know our formation anymore. Yeah. So we're figuring it out as we go. But Spain, they've had this 4-3-3 the whole time. The only rotation they've done really is Olmo for Pedri because Pedri's out. They just look solid.
Yeah, they do. And I mean, they've got like the most classic like Spanish team now. They've got sort of that like that really hard-working striker with two electric wingers and just technicians and domination in the middle of the park. I think the only weakness they really have is maybe their back line.
Yeah.
But they control the game so well, and not in a way that they get 90% possession, don't create chances. They're having like 50-60% possession, but they're constantly creating chances. Their vertical passes throughout the lines are ridiculous. And then if they don't go through the lines, they go wide, and they've got Yamal and Nico Williams as their outballs. It's fantastic.
100%.
It's such a perfect team. It's so well structured. It's so well balanced. But I think the way that England can get at them is to get Saka in a one-on-one versus Cucurella. Get whoever's out on the left, maybe even it's Luke Shaw on a one.
We need to get someone against Danny Carlisle.
But we need to have that overlap.
Yeah.
If you have Luke Shaw and maybe Bellingham doubling up there, you can create chances. And Lenormand, he's good. Laporte is a bit of a Rolls Royce of a defender, but it's time that Harry Kane needs to really put the work in. He really needs to give them something to think about, because that is the only place I see England being able to threaten the Spanish team. I'm very worried about Dani Olmo.
Yeah, I think so too. I can't think of many games England have had this tournament where we've got the worst midfield. But I think we'll have the worst midfield in this game.
Yes.
Rodri is obviously the best centre midfielder in the world. England have got Declan Rice, so he's really good at protecting that English back line. But in terms of kind of like holding the ball in the midfield, you saw even against Holland, once they added an extra player to their midfield, we began to panic a bit, couldn't really retain possession. And that's what the Spanish do. Rodri, so good. Fabian Ruiz, best midfielder at the tournament, I reckon. Mm-hmm. And then Dani Olmo, like you said, come in. He's so good at linking up the play, but also doing that kind of final third, getting a chance away.
Arriving late, yeah. He's fantastic.
I think we're going to have trouble kind of trying to control their midfield.
I mean, it might be the ideal time to have someone like Adam Wharton come in.
Adam Wharton.
But it's not going to happen.
No, it's too big a call.
Yeah, but for me, it is possible. It is possible. But maybe you have to revert to like having more of a diamond in midfield, where you have Rice as the centre point, and you have Bellingham on the left, Manu on the right, and then Phil at the head of that. Because I think you need to compact that midfield. You need to be able to cut those passes in lanes, because otherwise, like you say, the Spanish will just play around you. They have no worry. You could have 4 man running at Rodri, and he's going to come away with the ball still, or he'll play the pass. And our press isn't good.
No.
Our press is all over the place. It's disjointed. I liked that at the beginning of the game we were literally charging down their goalkeeper. It was much better to see, because you're forcing Netherlands to make these mistakes or make these long balls where we're going to have the sort of the running of their back line, because we've got like Stones and Gay.
Yeah.
But yeah, for me, that midfield battle is, you've got to just find a way of negating their midfield. And then obviously you look further at the pitch.
Yeah.
So key battles are going to be Yamal versus whoever's on the left, and then
Trippier.
Be Trippier or Shaw.
I think probably start Trips and then bring Shaw on again.
Start Shaw, you know.
You reckon?
I have a real feeling. And then on the right hand side,
whoever it is,
Williams versus Walker.
I think they get murdered by Yamal.
Well, the only good thing is that we've gone to a back three, which allows you to double up a little bit. Because if Yamal comes in and he cuts inside, which is what he wants to do, that's where he scored that fantastic goal. He's instantly got Gay or Rice there, you know. So he doesn't have that option now. The only problem will be if they go wide, then you can't double up on them, because you can't bring Gay out or Rice out.
Yeah,
and then that's where Dani Olmo will operate. He'll find that space
if they get dragged out. Yeah, and
England, we've conceded a couple of long range shots already this tournament. Talking about was it Schulman for Denmark and Xavi Simons in the Netherlands game, where we didn't press quick enough and we got caught off guard. Weren't expecting the long shot.
Yeah, that's true.
And it happened. So at the other side, you've got Nico Williams up against who used to be known as the best one-on-one sort of defender in the world.
That's what I was going to say. Back in the day, you'd be like, if you've got a techie winger, Carl Walker's the guy.
He's done it against Mbappe a couple of times.
Vinny Jr.
But he hasn't been at his best tournament.
I don't back him at all.
But reverting back to what we said before, that back three just helps with that a lot. But it's going to be sort of him and Saka doubling up. And Saka's by no means the worst option to have there, because he's so good defensively as well. We saw him win the ball of Gakpo a couple of times in the Netherlands game. exactly what you want. But those are the two danger men to look out for.
Yeah.
Morata, he's like Harry Kane.
He's working hard. Whereas I think Harry Kane is not even working hard anymore.
He makes space. He's so good in the link-up play. He wins fouls high.
Yeah.
And he is a threat in and around the box. You can't just leave him because he might only score one goal this tournament, but he might be the winner.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
But yeah, like he's tracking back. He'll be an extra man for the defence. He'll be an extra man in that midfield. Whereas like Harry Kane, apart from like the occasional cross that he'll head out, I can't see him around the pitch at all.
I feel like he's like a minute behind the play a lot of the time.
Yeah.
And he's not holding the ball up for us well enough. His touches look a little bit sloppy. I don't know whether it's just a fitness thing, but
yeah,
the only positive is that Gareth Southgate has been brave and made the decision to take off his captain because he trusts his replacements.
Squad, yeah.
He trusts the squad. If you have someone like Ivan Toney battling up against the Port Lane or man, they're going to have a horrid day.
Yeah.
Especially if you have people like Saka, like Luke Shaw whipping balls in. It's going to be a horrendous day for them.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll talk about England now. I think they're going to stick with the back three.
I think it'll be pretty much the same lineup as against the Dutch. But like you said, is it Luke Shaw in from the start this time or is it Trippier from the start?
I think he's going to go with Luke Shaw from the start. Although I'm not sold on it.
I think Trippier maybe.
I think you're much better off having Trippier on the first 45 and then having that option to bring Shaw on.
Yeah.
Because if you can't bring Shaw on and you have to bring Trippier on instead, you lose that going forward, don't you?
Yeah.
You lose that threat of the overlap. So if Trippier either starts or he doesn't play at all, in my opinion.
And when your Mal's freshest, you want your best defender, your fittest defender, which would probably be Trips.
Yeah, Trippier defensively pretty solid. And the only issue there then is if the Mal goes on his right foot and comes down the line, then you've got Gay and Trippier who are both probably wanting to cut inside and narrow the space. But it's an interesting one. But I do think they'll go stick with the back three. It's going to be pretty much the same. Trippier or Shaw. Rice and Mainu will be in there.
We need a big game from Mainu. Like, he did it against the Dutch and he looked really good. But that Dutch midfield wasn't like the best
in the world.
Like Reinders and Shooten, England always had like one or two extra men. And you're coming up against two midfielders that aren't like elite level. Whereas like the Spanish midfield, you're coming up against the same amount of players and a different calibre of player. Like, obviously, like all the banter on Twitter is that Mainu dunked on Rodri in the FA Cup final when Man United won. Can he do it again? But it's a different league now.
Yeah, I wonder if we need to see Stones sort of push up a little bit when we're in possession and offer himself as that sort of that fifth man in the midfield to give them sort of that release if their pressure is coming on, recycle it back to Stones, go wide again, and then it sort of spreads out in the middle of the pitch a bit more. You have a bit more space to work with. However, if that happens, we can see Morata occupy that space. Then it asks a question of Gay or Walker to come in, tuck inside to narrow that down. But then suddenly you're leaving Yamal and Williams on a one-on-one.
Yeah.
And we saw England revert to a back five out of possession. We saw England revert to a back four out of possession certain times against the Netherlands. Saka, obviously he's not a defender. A couple of times where he's playing a couple of players on side that we weren't punished by. But if that's Yamal Williams or Morata, that can happen. And I'd be worried a little bit about England's line stepping up. It's not been the most sort of rigid line. There's a couple of players always drifting out. We saw Walker being offside for the Slovakia goal. But yeah, it's going to be dangerous. It's going to be really dangerous. But it's all about creating opportunity in the middle of that pitch and negating the Spanish. And I think we can do it. We've got the legs in there to do it. Rice, Mainu, Bellingham are all physical. They're all composed on the ball. They can all do it, but they need to play to their very best. This needs to be... They all need to drop 8 out of 10 performances.
I was going to say, we can't have anyone kind of having howlers. Can't afford any kind of... Like, at the start of the tournament, we had sloppy mistakes, loose passes,
Can't do that.
Poor touches. Can't afford that in this game. We'll get punished.
No. But the good thing with Mainu is that he's so good progressing the ball. We spoke... When we did a piece on him earlier this season, we spoke about how good he is at carrying the ball, how good he is at playing at forward passes. The amount of shot ending actions that he creates when he's the base of it, when he plays the ball out now to like Saka or into Foden's feet, or even he looks wide for the switch to maybe Shaw or Trippier, he's so good at it.
Yeah.
We saw it a lot against the Netherlands, and I think he's going to be pivotal. A big performance is going to be needed from him, and I have no question that he's capable of doing it, because I think he lives for the occasion. Phil Foden in front of him, I think him and Foden have a brilliant partnership.
Yeah.
They're both looking to do the same thing, get the ball up the pitch. If Foden holds onto the ball and he does that thing where he comes in and he comes around again because he can't find the option, Manu goes ahead of him and creates that third option. And I think you've got that side where you've got sort of Walker, Foden, Saka, and then if Kane comes in as well, it creates a space for Foden. I think Foden's going to be the main man for England. I think he's really got to step up. The main issue is that he ghosts a lot in big games.
He does, like Harry Kane, who we'll talk about in a minute. But my worry is Rodri. Rodri is just a born winner, hasn't lost a game in about 1 million years. He is going to dominate that kind of area in front of the defence where Phil Foden, Ben and Harry Kane all kind of exist. And when they're firing, maybe they can outdo Rodri in that area. But none of them are firing, and Rodri is having a decent tournament. I think he's gonna make it really hard for any of them to.
What we've got to look for is Harry Kane to almost come and sit on Rodri. But I think Rodri's going to be so switched on that if that happens, he's just going to push up.
Yeah,
he's going to draw Harry Kane out. We're going to have no one there. Yeah. But if you want someone to battle, it's probably Harry Kane or maybe Jude. I think Jude
on him could be nice.
Jude could really give him a physical battle.
Yeah.
But then Rodri is, like we said, so intelligent that he will just move out the way.
Yeah.
And he'll just leave the space. And that's what the Spanish will push up into.
Maybe it's an Ivan Toney job.
Potentially. Or maybe you have two. You have Kane and then you have Watkins behind.
Let's talk about Harry Kane and then we'll do our predictions. Harry Kane, I've said it on Twitter so many times this tournament, he looks so bad. So bad. He's got 3 goals. He's actually leading the Golden Boot race with Dani Olmo. But, apart from the goals, which, was it, a pen, a tap-in the 6-yard box, and a good header. Is that it?
It was an unchallenged header, yeah.
Yeah. He has just looked terrible. He's not winning the physical battle anymore. He's not dropping deep and spraying those passes anymore. He's
never going to get in behind.
He's not creating chances. He's not doing anything for me. We're playing with 10 men all the time.
Yeah, the issue is that
he'll score a goal. Yeah,
you can't not have him on the pitch because when you need a goal, you want Harry Kane there. If a chance falls to someone, you want it to fall to him. Maybe that he just needs to have a big game. If he's been holding in his performance of the tournament for the final, I have no problem with that. But I completely agree with what you say. Sometimes you're looking and you're thinking like, where the fuck is he? Why is he not there? Saka's pulled the ball back and no one's there.
Balls are coming in. He'll be on the left wing, crossing it into the 6-yard box.
For Phil Foden
to header it. And I'm like, what is going on here?
Makes no sense at all. Although there's no chance he doesn't start.
No, not a chance. There's no point.
I think even myself, I would start him.
Yeah. Because if we don't start him and we lose the game, all the media outlets are saying, why didn't Harry Kane start?
I think he's an important player to have on the pitch. I just need that 10% more from him. Or maybe that 80% more.
Yeah.
But he is a threat. Yeah. He is a threat, and I think he's an intelligent footballer.
Yeah.
Where if you have like Watkins from the start, Watkins is he's going to be pressing on behind, but no one's going to be sort of closing down Rodri and trying to sort of like force Rodri to play quick balls. No one's going to be really physically challenging him, maybe apart from Jude. So you sort of need someone there, but what we need then is for Harry Kane to be winning those physical battles, even 50% of the time. But then when he does that, someone needs to be there to give him the outlet. Someone needs to be there to receive the ball short or for the flick on. We can't have Harry Kane as the focal point of the line anymore. We need someone to be in behind.
Yeah.
If that means Phil Foden has to drift out to the right and then Saka drifts in and you create that sort of confusion for someone like Cucurella.
Yeah.
Where does he stick? Does he go? Maybe that's what has to happen. But I think Harry Kane starts. Right.
I agree. Prediction time. The big one. England. Euros final.
I think it's going to be a really cagey game. I think it's going to be a really, really cagey game. We said this multiple times before we start recording. Kind of don't want England to score early.
Yeah.
Don't want to concede early.
That'd be if they score early, it's a repeat of Italy in the last Euros.
If we get to 45 minutes, 0-0, I'd be happy with that.
We need to stink it to the end and then have another clutch moment.
I think so as well. But I think it might be penalty heartbreak.
Penalty heartbreak. That'd be worse.
I think it might be 1-1 and then penalty heartbreak.
That's worse than losing.
But I'm going to go England on penalties.
England on penalties. You're here for hard-hitting truths. I'm going Spain 2-1. I'm going to say Spain go 2-0 up, and we score 1 in about the kind of like 80th, and we're putting the pressure on for like the last 10 minutes, but we can't get one of those moments.
Fingers crossed that just doesn't happen.
That would be heartbreaking.
I would love to see nothing more than football come home.
Let us know in the comments down below your score predictions.
It'll only come home if we bring it home. It's not going to come home on its own accord. So let's go out there, let's give them a proper performance, and let's show them what we're about. It's been ball draw. The Euros is coming to a dramatic end. Will football come home, or will it go to Espanyol?
Southgate, you're the one. You still turn me on. Football might be coming home again.
Fingers crossed. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have enjoyed, remember to like, comment, subscribe. Check out all our other social platforms. We've been pumping out the content. The Premier League season is next. That is what's on the agenda. It's going to come sooner than you know. Make sure you're here for it. It's been ball draw, and it's live.